I have a great idea.
But I'll
Never do it. It might happen. Sure, the monkeys might fly out of my butt. I don't think so.
I
Don't see it happening. Hey, everybody, it's me, John.
And it's me, Louise.
This is a very, very special episode of I Have a Great Idea, but I'll never do it. Do you know why, Louise?
Because we're in the same spot.
We are sitting on the same sofa, looking at each other.
I feel really warm. I feel really nervous.
I feel like this episode is going to have a different feel to it because there's not the element of technology and distance separating us. We are in the moment. We are drinking cucumber saisons, and we are feeling it.
It's really great. It feels right.
Whoever's idea this was to make this happen, I don't know, whatever.
It was a great idea. And we have failed miserably because we did it.
We're doing it. For anybody who is listening for the first time, being like, big deal, you're sitting on a couch together. This is the podcast, the only podcast, that's all about the great ideas that we all have that we're never going to do.
Not ever. For various reasons.
Louise, do you ever like wake up in the morning and it's like, oh man, I have such a great idea. I'm going to write that down and I'm going to
Yes.
do it. And then like you never do it.
Oh, I'm never going to do it.
That's what this podcast is about.
Yeah. And I often feel like I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling refreshed and I'm feeling inspired and I'm like ready for the day. And I'm like, oh, it'd be a great idea. And I jot it down, or let's be serious, I put it in my phone.
Right.
And later in the day, I'll be like, hey, remember when I had that great idea? And I go look at it again and I'm like, mediocre idea. Good thing I won't do that one.
You know, but it doesn't matter because the point is that we're just going to talk about them.
I'm here for the ideas.
I'm here for just the camaraderie.
Oh. I'm here for the camaraderie and the cucumber saison.
Oh, yeah, totally. They're the best.
And I live here.
You live here. We are in New York City, which if anybody listened to the last episode knows that there's controversy
There is.
in the words I just said. We're going to get to that pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
So what we actually have something really very cool to do first. We haven't had this experience in a while, but we are going to play a few voicemails.
Yay!
So this one is actually quite old. It's from June, and let's hear what this caller
Hey guys,
had to say.
I don't really have an idea. I was just calling to, check in, see how you're doing. I hope you're well. Have a good day and a great idea.
Thank you very much, caller. I believe that person is referring to when we ask people to call in and just tell us, what's going on, what's new, what's happening.
It was giving me a great idea
What's
as
that?
I was listening to it.
Bring it on.
We should totally have a Ron Burgundy style sign off called "Have a great day," or it's "Have a good day and a great idea." Like
like
it's
it.
a cool, I don't know, local newscaster sign off.
For sure. I'm into it.
I like it.
And
And I am well, caller. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, I'm noticing that this next call is from the same number. So why don't we listen? This one is from August 24th. So let's hear how this one goes once it decides to start playing.
I haven't heard a podcast from you guys in a while, so I just wanted to say, one, I miss hearing your voices, and two, I have a great idea, but I'm never going to do it. Now, this isn't necessarily a product, so I don't know if this is something that still counts, but interview shows can be boring, so people just sit in chairs and they just interview. So I was thinking, what about doing a show called Running Errands with Stars? So basically, you would run all of the errands that you need to do within that day, And as you're doing your laundry and going to the grocery store and all those random things that we all do throughout the day, the star would be following you around, and as it's happening, you are interviewing them. Because I'm assuming that most stars don't run errands themselves, and so this way they get to kind of have a taste of what you do on your daily basis, and while you're doing that, you can interview them. There's my idea.
Thank you so much, caller. I have one thing to say, and one thing alone. Celebrities, they're just like us.
They're just like us.
I thought that is a fun idea.
I like it. I also want to say, if I'm ever a star, I want to do my own stuff.
I recently had I'm not going to call it an argument, but a confrontational conversation with my spouse, and it was all about running errands and how she really enjoys running errands and wishes that she had more opportunities to just go out on her own to run some errands.
Huh.
And I was thinking about it, and it's like, typically errands for me are like the stuff you have to do,
Right, you gotta
but
go
don't
do that.
necessarily want to do.
Right.
But I understand how nice it can be to have the freedom to just like go out and do that kind of thing. So, yeah, celebrities.
I also feel like,
I don't know.
yeah,
That one.
also celebrities. Hard stop. No, that sometimes I feel like, oh, I would really enjoy this luxury. And then, for instance, whatever cart you're going to use that picks up your groceries for you and delivers them to your house. I don't know what those could all be called in a million different places. But Fresh Direct is one of them. Not a sponsor, but one like that.
Instacart.
Yes, very much. And I'm like, ugh, I would not have picked this bag of grapes. You just
Yeah.
went and you picked any bag you wanted. And I feel this weird frustration with something that I just probably definitely could have done myself. And so I'm like, I could just save myself all this frustration if I go and I really like picking out my own produce.
And this time you can have like John Malkovich helping you.
Yes, or Christian Slater.
Yeah, those are two celebrities. I bet that Christian Slater runs his own errands.
He absolutely does. He lives in my neighborhood.
Oh.
And one time I was walking his dogs and I was like, oh my God, I love this dog. Hey, doggo. Like I never talk to the people. I only talk to the dogs. And, had this definite one-on-one conversation with one of his dogs. And then was like, anyway, see you later, neighbor. Because then I knew who he was, but I didn't want to make him feel weird. Anyway.
They're just like us.
Just like us.
Yeah.
But it does seem like a good talk show idea.
It does seem like a good talk show idea. I do like any kind of talk show that breaks the format.
Yeah. It also reminds me of when Michelle Obama went to CVS with Ellen.
I did not see that.
Oh, it was really enjoyable.
Did they talk about those long receipts? Everybody loves making those jokes.
Oh, really? No. I think
Yeah, it's
basically
pretty
they
stupid.
just needed to go there for something, and then Ellen was making a scene, and Michelle Obama was like, do not embarrass me at this CVS. It was good.
Yeah, I guess, go Google it, right?
It's good. I also like select internet snippet style of Billy on the Street.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah. So this idea of the errand show,
Yeah.
I'm getting into it. What a great idea for someone else.
Yeah. We're not doing it.
No.
All right. So we have another caller.
Voicemail
Another
City.
voicemail. One more. And
Ooh, that can tie into my challenge.
all right. Let's go play message. And here we go.
All right, guys, here it is. It's a wine store that's Wayne's World themed, and it's called Wine's World.
That's the end of the message.
Slow clap. Okay, I love it.
I agree. I think that this should happen immediately. I mean, anything that's Wayne's World themed, I immediately approve right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm signing
we
off
could
on
get we could get little cut off tanks and then like tie little flannel shirts around
Right.
the wine bottles. And we could even have, I don't know, maybe tastings or something. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what was that? Maybe it was Wayne's World 2. When they no, I can't think of it. I was going to try to do a pun, but I don't think it's going to work out of my mouth.
Let's like
Only in my brain.
Let's just talk through it. What's your journey here?
The dream girl. The dream girl.
Oh, that's the first one. Yeah, who works at the donut shop?
Garth's dream girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
She works at Stan Nikita's donut shop.
Yeah, but then I couldn't remember her name, and then
It's just Dream Girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
done. Done. I mean, that's it. The pun left me. I was too far gone into I need to watch this again.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Wayne's
It's
World
such a great
is
movie.
a fantastic movie. And a wine store. I don't know if well,
I also want to know if this caller got their inspiration from our other podcast,
Louise
It to Beaver, because we've added a new segment as of late,
Words World.
Words World.
What's also, by the way, really exciting about recording with you in person is that we get to say things in unison.
Oh my gosh. It's
Normally
great.
there's like a weird delay and like maybe it syncs up in a weird way,
Mm-hmm.
but now we can say things in
the same
unison.
time.
Ah!
I did that on purpose.
I love it.
I just love that we got callers.
We got some callers. If you want to call us with your great idea or just to like check in with us and say hi, the number is 304-804-IDEA.
And one of the reasons that we haven't had a pod in quite some time, Jon is loving on his baby who is growing during really, really formative years. You don't want to miss a thing. You don't want to miss a thing. And also, I got married.
Yeah, Louise got married.
Married.
So we've been busy.
We've been busy.
And also we've just been recording Louise to Beaver.
That's right.
Yeah. So back off.
Well, also, I really enjoy your enthusiasm. We'll
Yes.
get right on that because I enjoy the pod too.
Oop.
Pause for some technical difficulties. No, just kidding. I don't know. What do you think? Do you want me to go first in some other ideas that we might have?
Yes.
Okay.
Please do.
So this idea was sort of inspired by New York City restaurant goings on. I'm always surprised. Perhaps it's because I worked in the food industry or whatever, but that for some time I was a waitress and a hostess, and anyway, not important. How there's not sort of a mingling or hanging around lounge when you know that someone needs your table. So the
Right.
idea would be an after dinner lounge in the restaurant. So you're in the same place. So if you have inclement weather, you're not really going anywhere. But you don't need your table anymore. But you're
Right.
not ready to say goodbye to your guests.
Sure, yeah.
You might get dessert. You could still maybe get dessert there. You could definitely still get a drink there. But it's just another like hangout place so that they can turn over your table and seat more people.
So it's like the opposite of a waiting area. It's a lingering area.
It's a lingering area.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes you haven't seen your friends in a really long time. Sometimes you want to like chill out at your table, but I would almost rather chill out on some like couches
Yeah.
than in a wooden chair with a uncomfortable squeaky back at a table where if I put my elbows on the table then I have to feel like I'm not being polite. I would just rather take my glass of whatever I'm sipping on and move over to a comfier space to continue the excellent conversation I'm having with loved ones.
Can I tell you what I'm envisioning?
Yeah.
I'm not envisioning like comfy couches or anything. I'm actually envisioning like a place that has like an outdoorsy feel and there's like maybe fake logs on the ground and there's like a little fire pit situation and you
yes.
make s'mores.
Yes. Should you so choose. Like you don't have to make s'mores. And it's not a real fire pit because you don't want the guests or the patrons smelling like smoke.
It's a controlled situation. It's not just like a fire pit. It's just like an area where there's a little like a fireplace kind of action.
It also lends itself to really, really lovely lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take a selfie in there.
Totally.
Because you know what, how you're sitting at a table and they've cleared all your dishes and you got your water glass and they keep coming over to try to fill it. And you're like, no, don't waste any more water. And then they keep, coming over. Can I show you a dessert menu? And you're like, I don't know. I'll take it and I'll look at it knowing that like you just want to sit there and talk to your friends. This way you can be like, well, actually head over to the lingering area, the lingering lounge.
What do you suppose would be the alternative to a dessert menu for people who do want to hang around but don't want dessert? And I mean, not drinks either, because that's, kind of always an option.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an excellent question. Part of me thinks that the restaurant still wants to take your money.
Yeah.
So they still want to offer you something. And I'm like, maybe it's just like a chocolate plate, but the chocolates are really fancy. So it's like $5 for one piece of chocolate rather than $5 for your drippy lava cake or whatever. I don't know what you're going to order. But then I was thinking maybe it's like you could have somebody do a hand massage.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Like somebody will come over and just like do like, you know how you get sometimes when you go to a fancy place, they'll give you a hot washcloth.
Yeah.
You get one of those and then a complimentary little like hand bit for a little bit.
That
it wouldn't be complimentary because obviously
no,
try to take your money. But, I'm trying to think what's an alternative to eating things. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of times I'm just like, I'm done with eating.
Yeah.
But there's got to be like something else. Like maybe they're just like, would you care for Boggle? And then like they hand you
a deck of cards.
Like the Boggle set. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you pay like $25 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know if I would be very good at this at a restaurant because I tend to be very enthusiastic and competitive about games. So I would be like, we're done talking. Now it's Boggle time.
Right.
But yeah, that would be really fun.
Just some kind of like activity.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times too, I get overserved.
Uh-huh.
But part of it's not, all of it's not my fault. First of all, I was overserved. But I don't want to leave the people that I'm with. Right. So I think like, okay, just one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we had like a lingering area, maybe I could just...
I like the lingering area.
Yeah. I also like it too when I'm waiting for your table.
So let's see what I've got on my list. Okay. This one, I know that typically when people have ideas, it's like, oh, it's like Uber, but for dog walking. And then that's Swag or whatever. And then it's always the this of that. But what there needs to be, as you mentioned earlier, I am a father of a small child, a Yelp for kids stuff. Because sometimes I want to find out, I just did some traveling with my kid, and I wanted to find out good playgrounds that are good for like a kid that's my kid's age, because she's not ready for all of the big stuff like most playgrounds have, but like could really use one of those swings that like you put their legs through.
Yeah.
And not all playgrounds have that.
Right.
So,
yeah. I feel like that would be really good too, because a lot of mom friends that I know always refer to this mom group that I'm in, this mom group tells me this. And I'm like, but what if you're not in a group? Or like you say, what if you're traveling?
Yeah.
And you're,
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, or just like, a lot of, it's easy to like look up restaurants. They'll be like, good for kids. But I want to go to some sort of app or something where I can only see places that are good for kids. And then they can give me like the rating of like how good the high chairs are.
Yeah.
And like pictures of like the kid things. Or like if they have a little area where kids can go play with stuff, then it's like, I want to see that. I want to know that it's clean.
Right. Or, and like a seasonal filter, because a lot of places will be like, great for kids, like a splash park.
Right.
But that's not good for a kid in November.
The dead of winter. Yeah.
Or the dead of winter.
The dead of winter.
The dead of November.
The dead of July.
Oh, but that would be a good time.
The dead of July.
Yeah.
No one ever says that.
No, but they should. Well, that's because everything's blooming and
What does it mean, the
beautiful and
dead of?
the dead of the mid in the middle there? It's just as far in.
I wonder
as you
where that
were
comes
out.
from.
We should look it up.
Yeah. Or not.
It's how I feel about winter. That's
It's
for
just
sure.
Deadsville.
Oh God. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For
So
Isabel.
anyway, all I'm saying is just like an easy resource where it's just like, it's right there for you. Look, plenty of people out there have kids. There's a market for it.
There's absolutely a market.
Somebody go make it happen.
And it can even be like people generated, like user generated,
yeah,
like Instagram.
totally. Yeah.
Instagram's not posting pictures. I mean, if they are, I'm not following.
Mute.
Mute. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, you want me to flip on another idea, sort of?
Yeah, please.
All right. So this idea maybe already exists. If it does, it's not great, and it could use some improvement.
Uh-huh.
There needs to be an in-flight helper, like brother or sister app, that you can see the terminal you're coming into,
Okay.
and then the gate that you're coming into, and what stuff is around there, so that you can order yourself like a bagel and cream cheese with a large coffee and small orange juice. And you're going to be coming from gate 18, so that when you get off the plane, you can just waltz over
Right.
and then boop your QR code or whatever
Yeah.
and pick up your food. So that you don't have to wait in a line. I mean, I guess your bagel gets cold, but then you don't have to wait in a line. It's especially helpful if you've got a really tight connection. Because now that airlines don't give you any kind of food anymore,
Yeah. So
unless you give them all of your money. I don't know.
Well, one thing that would also be cool is like, because they have your flight information, they
Meet
get
you at the gate.
Well, I mean, maybe
Airport delivery.
could be, but also not just that, but since it can see when you have landed and potentially when you have deplaned,
Yeah.
they know how to time it
Yeah.
a little bit better.
It could also be like the Postmates of airports.
The blank of blank.
Yes, the blank of blank. That
Wait, let's do it in unison. The blank of blank.
Unison is a great idea. I wonder who the first people to do that were, and if they were just like,
What?
yeah, the first time it happened, the first humans to ever. They just were walking along doing their day, having a simultaneous thought pop out of their mouths, and
Yeah.
then just
Did you really just say that?
so
Oh my
much
God.
surprise. Like, just, I mean, firsts of anything are amazing.
I am very fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could order your thing, and then you've got your one buddy who's tracking you,
Yeah.
and then they go get it and bring it to you. I don't know if that just makes the airport way more crowded.
I mean,
Maybe
what
there's
could,
a better.
what
well,
could
I
make
don't
it
know.
more crowded?
A bunch of freelance Postmates or.
Oh, you mean
airport-
actually having people in there? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, just more bodies bringing me my bagel. I don't know.
Unless they use like pneumatic tubes.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Just like, here's your coffee, thump,
That would be amazing.
and a gigantic mess.
That would be amazing. Do you know that's how the first subways were working?
Really?
Yeah,
Very cool.
very cool.
Being here in New York for the first time in a very long time has been really fascinating. I've been thinking about mostly the subway system differently than I've ever really thought about it before. Just like the way that it works, the way that like the trains can get so close to one another, but are designed in such a way with like the rails are just so that they're not gonna like bump into each other or anything. It's just really fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Very.
I'm just saying.
No, it is. It is. There's the UN General Assembly happening right now, so
Yeah.
traffic is a basic nightmare. And I know everyone says that about stuff everywhere. And yeah, I mean, I lived in New York and I've also lived in LA, and whatever, traffic is traffic, it's fine. But it's particularly bad right now because of security purposes and
Yeah.
road closures and whatever. I jumped on the subway today and was like, beep, boop, 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 in my place in less than 9 minutes. And was like, wow, loving it. And I don't often feel those feelings for the MTA.
Well,
I was digging it today, though.
yeah, it's been really interesting. I feel like, and I've already talked about this with you, Louise, but being here in 2018, where there are so many apps that have all of the MTA information piped into it, it makes navigating the subway system so easy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I just take the N to the Q, no problem. Great. I have 9 stops. Great. Easy.
Yeah. It really blows my mind that when I moved to New York, I had a subway map sticky puttied to the back of my door.
Yeah.
And I would be like, okay, where do I need to go? And then I had to find the streets.
Yeah.
And hopefully I at least knew what neighborhood I was in looking for the streets. And then I'd be like, okay, what looks like the closest subway stop? And then following the subway stop up and being like, okay, I guess I have to transfer here. Just like the whole process.
It requires a lot of planning.
It really
Yeah.
did. And then it was also kind of a fun game, or if you ever were going to meet up with a person, it was just like, gosh, I just feel like the kids, they're just so lucky and they don't even know it.
Yeah.
They're unappreciative.
Yeah.
They should have an appreciation
Oh my
day for
God.
millennials and younger.
Will there be appetizers?
There should be.
Okay, what do I have? This is right. Okay. I know that this is a sore subject for a lot of people, and it's a big frustration for most. But I feel like there needs to be, like, government-run grammar courses.
Oh, who is it that doesn't like this? Because this would make everything easier.
It drives me bananas how people not only misuse, a lot of common words and things like that, but also will take something that they think is correct grammar and they will say that even though it is very wrong. And I'm thinking mostly of the me-I situation.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like that one.
It's a very simple one, but people just don't think about it, and it becomes a problem.
But I don't know. Are you talking about written grammar or are you talking about speech?
Both?
Because I'm having a hard time understanding how that would even make sense.
Which would make
do
sense?
it wrong.
Do which one wrong?
Me think that, like, what?
Oh, no.
What?
So it's like, Dave and I went to the basketball game.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That sounds really wrong when it's wrong. That's right,
right.
though.
That is right because you just take out the other person
Right.
and it's I went to the
Right,
basketball
right,
game.
right.
But if it's but a lot of people say like oh, can you get a pizza for Dave and I? No, because then you're saying, can you get a pizza for I? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one particularly
Yeah.
wigs me out.
That's annoying. Most of my
And now I want a pizza, and if your name is Dave, you and I are
Get
getting
on
some
that.
pizza.
Get on that. No, yeah. Most of mine are written things,
Uh-huh.
and it's your and your and
Yeah,
their
the theirs.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I had. That's all.
But then what happens? What is your reward or license or permit?
Well,
or...
it's not a reward. It's your avoiding penalties by the grammar police.
I like it. Okay, this I can get behind. Because then my problem too when I try to work this out in my head is I'm like, oh, why doesn't everyone live with the integrity that I live with? And I can't change other people. You can only change yourself. But
That's
the
correct.
government does need money. So they say. They also waste a good lot of it. But
Well, according to our president at this
I don't know
UN
who that
situation, we have made tens of trillions. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah, I might need to move on.
I'm gonna actually move on to an idea that was told to me yesterday.
Okay.
By
fresh
by
idea.
a non-listener.
What?
Or a future listener, I
Okay.
should say. And there were a couple of ideas that were tossed around, one of which is still possibly something that she would like to do. My friend Beth had another idea that she told me that I could share on here. And before I really get into it, I will ask you, Louise.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the Jack Ryan series of Tom Clancy novels / movies?
Yeah, I am familiar in the way that I look at advertisements on Amazon, Netflix.
Well, right
Hulu?
now there's the new Jack Ryan series with John Krasinski.
Yes, that I am aware of. I know that it was based on a book, but I have not read them and
Right.
didn't watch
So-
any of...
First, we had, I believe, The Hunt for Red October, where Alec Baldwin played Jack
Oh.
Ryan. Then we had...
I didn't even realize it was the same person.
Then we had Patriot Games with Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan, and Clear and Present Danger with... It might have been those two mixed up, but with Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan there. And then there was Jack Ryan Shadow Recruit with Chris Pine, and then there was The Sum of All Fears with Ben Affleck as Jack Ryan.
Do you want to know I've heard of all of these movies? I've seen maybe half of them, and I had no idea. I was just like, oh, I guess maybe like just the same name. That seems pretty normal.
It's a pretty bland name. But anyway,
Wow.
her idea was Hunt for Red October 2, not like with the new Jack Ryans or anything, or not with the new actors, but with Harrison Ford and James Earl Jones. And even though he has died, to kind of have him back in some fashion. I don't know. She just really wanted to Clear and Present Danger 2 and thinks that it needs to happen. So I'm just throwing it out there for everybody.
Oh, okay. But them being themselves,
Present day.
but forward in time.
Yes.
Ah.
I had a subsequent idea to make a movie with all of the Jack Ryans together.
And were they talking
In unison! You betcha they were. Well, the script just says Jack, and then
And they all say the
they
line.
talked at the same time. Okay.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. It took me a while to come on that journey, but I think it's just because I didn't know what the first part was, and then I had that major, like, light bulb moment with you. I had no idea it was the same world.
Yeah, surprise.
Wow.
I feel like they've done the like origin story part of it in pretty much all of them, where it's like, I'm just an analyst. I don't know how to do all this stuff. And then it's like they kick some ass.
Right. Although I feel maybe nowadays, like he might be like, I'm just an analyst, and then, kicks a little bit of but now it is video game-esque.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember The Hunt for Red October making me feel like that.
Well,
Technology.
yeah. Well, at that time, the movies that came out were like a little bit slower, and it's not like action. It's like
Story.
oh yeah, story,
Yeah.
action, story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, the good old days.
Yeah, but
I
if we
do
did-
think that's cool. That like sort of reprisal.
Uh-huh. Well, also, it's like, given the way that things are today with Russia, it's like Russia's back in the news, and so is Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan.
Do you think that the characters would act accordingly to the average person of that age? Like, sometimes I feel like people who are really passionate about certain things, it could be anything. It could be, my uncle and tools or whatever. But in younger days, he would be like, oh, check out this like new crescent wrench. It's like, and be really passionate about it. And like now he's just like, whatever. I just need to use the tool. Do you think that, and sometimes I feel that way about other people and other things, but that the character would have been like, oh, this was so important to me back in the day, and now he'd be like in an armchair that was sort of a groovy color, like tweed stitching, and like just
his jacket or the armchair?
The armchair.
The armchair, okay.
He could still be a sharp dresser, but he's in an old groovy textured chair. Being disgruntled about the government rather than like getting up and doing something about it.
It's like, that's the thing with Jack Ryan is he never intends to get involved, and then he gets involved.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, sit in the armchair, I'm retired, and then he gets the call, Jack, we need you, buddy.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh. That's what he says.
I can't. Playing golf with my friends today.
I'm just sitting in my chair.
Cool.
I don't know.
I'm like envisioning it for other things too.
Like what?
So there was a movie in my childhood. It was really, really important to me. It was called Now and Then.
Uh-huh. Ooh. Yeah.
That would be really cool to bring the kid actors back to be the mom roles, to be the adult version of the kids back to be like the Rita Wilson and the Rosie O'Donnell and the...
So would they be...
They're themselves.
Right.
But just now as adults with kids. And then as grandparents.
Okay.
Because you know how the first movie exists at 2 times and they're remembering it?
So
that
let's
way.
just briefly talk about that movie because it has... like you were saying, Rita Wilson, Rosie O'Donnell...
Demi Moore. The blonde.
I'm drawing a blank.
Me too.
But anyway,
I'm gonna look it up,
so we have that group, and then there's the children version of them. It was Christina Ricci,
Thora Birch.
I haven't seen it in so long.
It's oh my gosh, I know, me too.
But anyway, so you have those two eras.
Yes.
And then what if we did it now?
Gabby Hoffman.
Oh yeah, Gabby Hoffman.
Devon Sawa.
Oh, Devon Sawa. So what if we did it now, but we had Christina Ricci.
Melanie Griffith.
Oh, Melanie Griffith.
God.
Okay, so we have Thora Birch, Christina Ricci, Gabby Hoffman. Like, we have them play... It's the same exact script.
Yeah. Oh.
But we just have them play the older characters and then get new child actors in there.
Interesting.
And then every, 15 years or 20 years or whatever.
But then it's a remake. It's not a sequel.
It's kind of a reimagining.
Uh-huh.
And then in 20 years you do it again. Yeah. Wouldn't that be interesting?
I feel what a wonderful movie to do it for.
Yeah.
I could have picked any movie from my childhood. 3 Ninjas Kick Back. But I picked
Those
Now
are the
and Then.
2 movies.
You'd understand. I used to ride my bicycle to the gas station to rent movies.
The gas station.
That's where we rented movies.
Did you also rent 3 Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain?
What?
Did you not know that there's another 3 Ninjas movie?
Oh my god.
Am I just breaking this news to you right now?
Oh my gosh. That's unbelievable. I need to watch it. now. That's amazing. Oh I would honestly ride my bike, hide it in the woods, in the woods near the alley, and then.
Oh my god!
I know, because I didn't want anybody to steal my bike
Every time I hear about your upbringing, it's just so fascinating.
And then I would go into the gas station and buy a bag of milk and rent movies.
What?
Yeah, milk in Iowa came in bags. And-
like Canada, they do that.
Oh, yeah. And you'd cut the little corner, and then the corner would go through a little slot on the pouring mechanism, so it would keep it fresh. Oh man, the pouring mechanism, the pitcher. What am I saying? What am I even saying? It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Three Ninjas,
High noon at Mega Mountain.
high noon at Mega Mountain.
Are you looking it up?
No, but I'm writing it down because, wow.
So you've only rented those two movies from the gas station.
Well, many others. Once I
Okay.
rented Homeward Bound and I bought myself a quart of ice cream.
A quart.
I wrote it home. It had a handle, so I wrote it home
Oh,
with the
yeah.
handle of the ice cream on my handlebars. And my mom was at work, so I was just at home watching this movie, and I was like, I love animals. I ate maybe half of the container, and then by the end, got so upset and sad that I threw up.
Oh, you were sad by the movie or sad because you ate so much ice cream?
No, I'm sad by the movie.
Okay.
And like my mom came home and my face was like a mess, and she was like, "What happened to you?" And I was
She's like, maybe I should be home more.
Chance and sassy.
By the way, hey, Mare, how's it going? Louise's mom
Hey, Mare. High noon.
at Mega Mountain.
Oh my god. Like I know what I'm doing this weekend now.
So I believe that I don't even remember what you challenged me to.
Oh, moving on. Okay, challenging you to tape.
You challenged me to tape.
Yeah.
I completely forgot to write it down.
Oh.
Well, your challenge was to rename New York City.
Yeah, Voicemail City.
Voicemail.
I said it at
City.
the beginning of this podcast. I was like, we had some voicemails, and I was like, and you were like, we'll get into that later because you made a reference, and I was like, Voicemail City. No, that's not what it was. Okay.
Oh my god.
Mine.
That would be a funny thing to rename it though. It's like, really? Okay.
Nobody
Can't wait for
will.
this
No one will
explanation.
leave you one. No one. Everyone will be. They will see that you have a voicemail and then just delete it.
Uh-huh.
They won't even listen.
Yeah.
So my idea didn't save when I was on a train. You know how it's supposed to sync on your app? It didn't.
Yeah.
So the only idea I have, because I'm an overachiever and I usually have multiple, so I had only one, and it was to rename New York
Yes.
New York. And then you get just to change all the
Well,
songs.
it wasn't renaming New York. It's renaming New York City.
Oh.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Because
with
it's the word
songs then.
city that's the part that
Oh, I
makes
thought
me
the
out.
part that you didn't like was new.
No, I got no beef with new.
Oh. Oh, then if I had other ideas, they're gone. Because it didn't sync, darn it. All I had was the one from the one time. But
Well, so because you just reminded me of my challenge,
Okay.
which was tape. Maybe while I'm talking through this,
I'll think of
yeah.
I'll
so
try to remember.
All right, so this is an in the moment idea situation. So the word tape has been coming up a lot lately in terms of Omarosa has taped conversations. There's the P tapes, allegedly. Tapes have been coming up in a major way lately, and I'm calling BS on it because nobody is taping things.
No.
There's no physical tape.
No.
You are recording it.
Yes.
You are saying that it is taped. So taped is taking on this new meaning as being anything that is recorded, not something that has been put to tape, but just
Right.
something that is recorded. So an idea would be to actually reincorporate tape into the way that we do digital recordings. It doesn't necessarily need to record to the tape, but maybe there's some sort of way that a tape can wind through a cell phone or whatever it is that because people aren't going to stop saying tape. I mean, maybe in like 50 years, people will stop saying it because they never knew what it meant to tape something. But like, there's got to be something that makes it an actual thing for tape.
Right. Or you could erase it from your data, but you would burn it to a tape, and then you would have the physical version of it, but not the digital version of it. Yeah, I don't.
There's really not much of an idea here.
Right.
Unless what we want to do is have a, like, what if in order for an audio recording to be submitted as like an official statement, it needs to be recorded to actual physical tape. Cannot be a digital recording.
Do you want to know why I like this a little?
Go on.
This goes into my preference with like theater versus movies as well, which I don't know. I say that out loud, and then I sometimes feel like I want to take it back a little, but not really. It's just like, if there's a bad play, generally it will close. And then only the people that saw it will remember it until they don't remember it anymore. They can't think of the name. They don't know the actor that was in it. They get Alzheimer's. I don't know. But like it goes away. And sometimes I feel like, a movie, if it's bad, people can just re-watch the badness. Or the way that I don't know, in the Dust Bowl in the Great Depression, if you were there, you remember it. Versus if I wanted to look at 9/11 footage, which I don't, but if I did, it would be there. And the pain is like much realer when you have the visual or audio reminder rather than just the memory.
Yeah.
And the deterioration with the physical tape also could be like what's the limit of statute or the statute of limits when you're trying to like prosecute somebody, or what is that even now?
Statute of limitations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's been a day.
It's been a couple of days.
It's been rainy like crazy today.
Yes.
Here in this New York City.
Oh, and speaking of that, here's some ideas I had right off the bat.
Great rhyme.
Yeah. The place.
The place.
Just the place. Where are you going this weekend? We got tickets. We're going to go to the place.
That's a bold renaming.
Yeah?
The place.
The place. Because you don't have to really say. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Or if you wanted to get really specific, the best place.
The best place? Oh man, we're gonna get some calls. 304-804 idea. We're gonna get some people angrily emailing us, greatideapod@gmail.com.
Or tweeting at us.
At GreatIdeaPod, but we don't know because we never really checked that one.
Yeah, I was thinking, isn't there a new TV show about a hospital and it's called like New Amsterdam? I don't know if that's like a play on a fictional New York or whatever, but I'm like, weren't we once already that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the place. I think the place.
The
Or the best place. Yeah, I like it. Because I was thinking, we already have the Big Apple. We already have.
Right.
Does it bother you when people say just the city? I'm going into the city?
It does.
Huh.
It does. Because depending on where you are, some people will say the city to mean a different city.
Yeah, so that really bothers me.
This isn't the only city, Louise.
I know it's not the only city. I know.
In Portland, when people are talking about the like most city part of the city, they just say downtown.
Yes.
Or the name of the neighborhood. They don't say the city. But I know that other places they do.
Yeah, I know that too. It does make me angry. I'm trying to think of a specific example. Maybe it's people outside.
Why does it make you angry?
Because that isn't what that is.
But somebody at one point had to be the first person to say, "I'm going to the city." Call back to earlier.
Hey.
And maybe they weren't talking about New York City.
Yeah, but then it's just kind of understood. I think
Is it?
I understand it to be. I feel like, let's pretend, go on this journey with me, that I move somewhere slightly outside of Philly.
Okay.
That is not the name of the city. The name is Philadelphia.
Correct.
People say Philly all the time.
Uh-huh.
So now I'm in a burb of a city with a nickname. If I'm going into it, I'm not saying, oh, I'm going into the city. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Like, not to be sweet or funny or save time or no, none of that. If I'm so, like, I wouldn't do it for Philly. I don't think anybody does it for Miami. Just,
I don't know.
yeah, so it does bother me.
I just feel it's a little arrogant to be
It
calling
is,
this
but
the city.
But that's part of, like, New York. That's part of...
Arrogance?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's part of the thing that makes me sort of love the city, too, is that so many people from so many different places can have this intense, passionate love about it. I don't know. I was just talking to my husband about how frustrated I felt for a number of reasons with just, like, places in life and whatever. And I just sort of thought for a second, like, so if I didn't have, like, astronomical ambitions and dreams and just had, like, sort of a thing that I could do anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And then I just did that somewhere else, that'd be it.
What do you mean that would be it?
Well, just more details would be, we were talking about purchasing a home.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, but then where would I work and what would I do? Because the things that I do are very specific to New York. And then I thought, like, I have this intense, like, trauma associated with leaving, not because there's other cities I'm going to go live in, but, like, this city means so much more than my zip code to me in terms of, like, moving on from the pursuit of that dream.
Right.
Or
the idea of what this city represents.
Right.
To you. Yeah.
Right. And I'm thinking, every time we talk about buying a house, I'm like, but then I'm trapped somewhere else. And he's like, oh my God, why do you feel trapped? And I'm like, because then I'm not in New York and then I like have to be there. And he's like, well, you don't really have to be anywhere that you don't want to be. And I'm like, but I don't have enough money to buy a place in the place.
I call it the city.
Okay. And how other people, because the grass is always greener, who are other places, I'm like, holy crap, they just had the money to just go, like, buy that thing and have that thing.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna make payments on it and have it, because I'm living in a glorified shoebox. But I am going to the New York City Ballet Gala on Thursday. And I am going to go see a show 2 weeks after that on Broadway. And I do go to museums. And it's really nice to take the subway when the UN General Assembly is happening and you need to get where you're going. MTA. Yeah, so that's all. That I understand that other people can say the city, but I also feel like those other people aren't having the emotional journey that I'm having.
Well, there's always the possibility of having an alternative type of living situation where, let's say, using Portland as an example, I don't know why I'm going to think of that city.
I know, why?
So let's say you buy a place in Portland. Mm-hmm. You can do 6 months in Portland and then do a house swap with somebody in New York for the other 6 months. Mm-hmm. And let's say you have a job where maybe you can work remotely or however it works out, then I don't know, maybe then you get your fill and you get the best of both worlds, essentially.
You get the best of both worlds.
Portland and New York City.
Then you rock out the show. Yeah.
Right now, we're having like a much deeper conversation
really are
about
than just
like
great
that we
ideas.
normally would be
Wow.
having. Well, wasn't that a pretty good idea?
Oh, a bi-coastal
Yeah, just to like
swap?
Yeah, just to maybe if you have the opportunity to work to have some kind of job where you don't necessarily need to be in a specific place. Mm-hmm.
No, that would be great. If I
Yeah.
could fall in love with that type of job, that would solve the problem
maybe.
already. Just, and I understand like priorities change and passions, fade or whatever, just different things. And a lot of it's just like luck and who you're around, because when you say, imagine that you would buy a place in Portland, I think, oh my God, I'm going to be in the same place that you're in, and we can like
Yay.
podcast all the time. And like I all of a sudden have this like really exciting
Yeah.
like tickle of enthusiasm about this thing, which I could pick up any day and do that.
Yeah,
I could pick up any day and do that.
Yeah, we could just like get microphones in front of our space and in front of our faces and speak in unison. There we go.
Oh, I have this hair stuck in my hand.
Oh God.
Sorry, like I touched my head and then all of a sudden it was like honey. It was everywhere. It was like hair. Yeah. All right. Well, long-winded challenges. What have you got for me for next pod?
My challenge for you is having it all.
Oh my goodness. This is a really tough one. Oh my God. Okay.
Having it all in the city or not.
This sounds like a really great sitcom title.
Having it all.
Dun, 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 dun. Having it all. Okay. Then my challenge for you.
I'm gonna write it down this time.
Good. Plastic bags.
Ooh, plastic bags. Something that we were just talking about earlier is how I come here to New York, and earlier a few days ago I was in New Jersey, and there's plastic bags everywhere. When I'm at home in Portland, there are no plastic bags. There's a ban on plastic bags. So having people hand you something in a plastic bag here is very weird to me. And I'm just like, why would you give this to me? Mm-hmm. Don't you realize how awful this is for the environment?
Right.
Yeah. So plastic bag.
Yeah. And I don't want to get any more specific than that because I feel like there could be a lot of things that happen there.
There can be a lot of things that happen there. So, in the spirit of wrapping things up, let's just shout out our stuff one more time. 304-804-IDEA.
Great idea pod.
At gmail.com and on social medias. And
check out our other pod, Louise It to Beaver.
Oh my God. Louise It to Beaver is so much fun.
It's pretty great. It makes me want to do it for like other things.
Oh my God, Louise. We don't have the time.
We could make it.
Oh my God. What would you do if you could add one more?
I have toyed around with...
By the way, I'm just assuming that we're doing this together.
Oh,
Yeah.
obviously. I always was very, very envious of a podcast that you did in the past called Vegan Snack Attack.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like I got to get some of them snacks. And I'd like to, that would be a fun thing to do with you, even though you've already done it.
Well, it still exists, and I've actually been thinking about how I want to maybe keep it going. And so rather than like having guests on and talk about vegan stuff and like whatever, I would just kind of bring it back to its core and be like, not even like have a full setup with like whatever microphones. I just like pop in my AirPods or something, and then I'd be like, oh, what do we have here? Snackaroons, banana coconut. How are these? What do we have? What is the information on here? Interesting. How is this? Interesting texture.
Where can you get it?
Yeah.
Because you introduced me to Dave's Killer Bread.
Oh, yeah.
We have it
DKB.
now. We have it now at
it's made
Fairway.
it.
But not the cinnamon roll.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't know if they stopped doing it.
What?
I don't know.
No, a great idea, Dave's Killer Bread, if you're listening, would be to bring that to the place.
You mean New York City?
I
The
do.
Big Apple?
I know. I'm trying to make it happen. It's not working. All right. Give it time. Or we could even do beverages with best friends and we try different beverages. Like we could even go to specialty stores, like a Japanese store, and get like we can't even read the bottle, but we can explain what it looks like and post a picture of it on social media and then tell you like, oh, it's bubbly and it tastes kind of like gum. Or
Louise,
whatever.
we've already talked about the podcast Totally Beverages and Sometimes Hot Sauce. I think on Louise to Beaver.
We did. You're right. Huh. Well, then I guess I would want to probably do a Louise to Beaver style show. So basically an older show recap show for like Dick Van Dyke or Mary Tyler Moore
Andy
or
Griffith.
Yeah, or Frasier or Parks and
Mr.
Rec.
Ed.
Oh, all of these would be so great.
Mr. Ed would be an interesting one.
All of these would be so great.
There are definitely ones about like Frasier and newer shows like that.
Oh, of course.
Not that Frasier is super
Not
new.
that we host. I mean,
Touche.
yeah. What would you do if you could add one more?
Oh, man. That's a good question. We'll talk about it next time.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me in your home to record this, Louise.
Oh my gosh, so much more.
Yeah. And I guess thank you and have a great idea.
Oh, have a good day.
Have a good day
and a great idea.
I don't see it happening.